I wasn't recording that. There we go. But in the Akashic Records, a book is a way of getting information to you. So a book can be a paper book. It can be a newspaper. It can be a television set. It can be an orb or, any of this. Okay, so today we're going to learn about the Akashic Records, and we're going to do the traditional Linda Howe method of getting in. And then we're going to do my favorite way of going in, which is to climb Spirit Mountain. And then, yeah, we have time. We'll also do a third way of getting in, which is take an elevator. And then by going the 3 ways, Cindy, you did all 3 of those with me before, didn't you? Okay, yeah, so this will be like more deep connecting for you. And then you'll see like what the common elements of these are, and I'll explain like the hypnotherapy, meditation techniques that we're hitting and why. So then when you work on your own, you're like, oh, I'm having trouble getting in. You can understand what you need to hit and what states of being you need to get to. And then we're going to learn how to understand and interpret the information that you get, and how there are different ways of receiving the information, and what that can mean. Spirit Mountain and the Tree of Life will be our second visit to the Akashic. Linda Howe's method will be the first, and then the third one, we have enough time, I'm pretty sure we'll shoot up the elevator, and that'll be really quick. That's the nice thing about doing all these in one day. Once we get the energy there, we'll be able to like quickly try more techniques as we build from scratch. We're also going to learn how to maintain a regular connection with our higher self. One thing about the Akashic Records is it's kind of like the internet. Like we see it as this great library up there somewhere, but really it's just like it's the information of everything ever recorded. Everything that happens anywhere is recorded in it. So you're accessing information similar to like going on the internet. One way to get in is to pretend like you're just logging in, like on a computer. Like Bridge, that might work really well for you because you're so connected to computer work. And then you just like go into the computer screen.
I'll do that.
If we have time today, we'll even try it afterwards. Yeah.
Almost like virtual reality.
Exactly. Like when I'm standing in line at the grocery store, and I'm like, this is going to take 20 minutes, like Sunday afternoon at Trader Joe's. I'm like, cool, okay. I just do a quick run into the Akashic Records, and I tell them nothing, hardcore, just give me like a fun little life. And, of course, I've learned their concept of a fun little life and mine are not always the same. So like this actually happened. I think Cindy heard this. I was standing in line at at Trader Joe's, and I'm like, give me a fun little life. And the next thing I know, I'm quick. I got like 10 minutes. So the way it's like I dove into my sacral chakra. So I closed my eyes and then there I closed my eyes, and I could feel my energy go up out of my head and dive into my sacral chakra. And suddenly, I'm in this past life. The Akasha can be so psychotic. I am tied to a post, and I am about to be burned to death. And my husband and baby are really being forced to watch. And people are holding my husband back as I'm watching, as like the fire is like lit. My husband is like, going crazy. And just as the fire's going up, someone takes my baby boy and throws it on the fire, and baby dies in the fire alongside me. And my husband just like goes insane. And I hear him like roaring. And I'm watching this, I'm like,
I said, no thanks.
and my Akashic guide um, said to me, "No, don't you understand? This is amazing." My Akashic guide said, um, "How old are you there?" And I looked, I'm like 14. It was a while ago. I was 14. And the guy said, "So this is only a few years, but look at the amazing lessons you learned in this life." And then at that point, I was given like this quick overview of how I was like this peasant farmer's daughter. And I think my mother died in childbirth. So my grandmother and my father raised me. So I was very close to my father, and he was always out in the field, so I was always out with him. And I was like a very natural healer. Obviously, I got burnt at the stake. And I was always like, I understood about herbs, and I was always doing little herb cures and putting things together and making little poultices and stuff like that. And then when I was 13 and I became a woman, I married another peasant's son, and we were like totally, smitten with each other. Um, and peasant farmers get injured and have aches and sores a lot, and we were all like, we weren't malnourished, but I wouldn't say we were nourished, and we're all pretty tired. So I was always like making little things for people, and then someone got sick. Oh, and then we had this baby, and we were like, life is great. Like, I thought being a peasant farmer was like the best ever. And then someone got sick. I got blamed. I got burned at the stake. Baby got burned alongside me. My husband, because of what happened, wait, no, it was baby girl. Baby girl. Right. He went into this deep state of mourning. Such a deep state of mourning that he left and he went off to become someone who, like, a wandering religious preacher, talking about empathy and compassion and the words of Jesus. And he spent the rest of his days in solitude, just wandering around teaching people about the importance of compassion and love and the love of Jesus. And because of that, he gave great solace to peasant farmers who really needed to hear that. Um, so in that life, the baby and I were not in that life for us. We were in that life for him. And the reason I had to be killed young was so that he could get on with his life. And he needed to learn the lesson of compassion and empathy and love. That was like something that he had been tripping over his past few lives. And the reason we had a baby girl is if we had a baby boy burn, um, he would have gone on a vengeful path.
Oh.
But because it was a baby girl that burned, he went into deep mourning, had a state of loss, and found compassion. So, like, all of this happened in like 5 minutes. It was so quick. Like, it took much longer to tell you about. And there was so much more that I saw, but it's longer to tell you than I experienced. So I came out of it. I was like, dang, that was awesome. Like, okay, yeah, not great being burned at the stake. Although you die of smoke inhalation before you get too charred, you know. If you're smart, if you're not holding your breath.
Still.
Yeah.
Stuff that you want to avoid.
Yeah, and not the only time I was burned at the stake. So.
Yeah.
So again, like I said, we got 2 hands, we got 2 feet, we got 1 head, and no burn marks on our body.
Yeah,
actually, driving during rush hour is a great time to be semi-connected. Like, you still need to be aware of traffic, but it's a great time to put yourself in that state where you're connecting with spirit and chatting with spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
He said that
mhm.
says that it's important to connect.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it increases your access and becomes part of
Yeah,
you.
it's true. It's like that Aborigine New Zealand guy I mentioned. They lived nonstop all day, every day. I mean, they had the human experience, but the magic and spirit was part of it all the time. So yeah, every night before I go to bed, I connect with my guides and chat with them about how my day was, ask them how their day was, tell them what I have planned for the next day, tell them what I would like to accomplish while I'm asleep. Like, I want to sleep really well. I want to just sleep all through the night in deep, sound slumber, and ask them if there's anything they need to have for sleep because, a lot of times when we're asleep, they're working with us.
Could you connect with
Um, I connect with my guides, but my Akashic guides are part of my guide team. Yeah, at this point, I probably have like a billion guides because I've got that whole collective thing going on. But there's like, I don't know, probably about 10 major guides if you include animal spirits. And the Akashic guides are part of that. Um, and then in the morning when I wake up, the first thing I do is connect with them while I'm still in bed and remind them what we got going on for the day and see like what they have. So that's like this morning when I woke up, it was awesome. They were showing me how excited they were, and all of your guides are primed, and they're like ready to go. And they showed me these great lines of connection, how all of them are connecting through me to you guys, but all of your guides are already connected with my guides. And so they showed me this beautiful, like, crystalline structure of energy, just like everywhere. It was really, really nice. So yeah, you don't need to do a major trip to the Akashic Records every day, but it is good to check in, just make sure, maintain that energy.
check in
Well,
with your guy?
yeah, if you have them included with your guides, then you're maintaining that energetic frequency. Yeah. Um, but it may take some practice to get there. So you may need to like specifically check in with, like, I'd say there was a time when my Akashic Records guides, my guardian angel, my spirit guides, my soul family, and my animal spirit guides were all separate. And then the shamans that I trained with while I'm sleeping were all separate. But now they're all connected. And it's a lot easier when you have them all like hanging out together. Yeah. Uh, okay. So we're also going to talk then about how to maintain regular connection so you can do the grocery line trick like I did. And we're going to talk about soul shards, which I don't want to get into now, but it's pretty awesome. Um, so the Akashic field. Um, so you can see, and I will make this whole PowerPoint available to you all as well, so you can go check it out at any point. Because some of the pictures are great to look at when you are going into a meditation. Um, so the Akashic Record has been around for as long as there's been people. Um, it's from Sanskrit. And really, it's, you may hear some people talk about the area that's right next to God, which is like what's it called? The great unknown. You may hear people talk about the clouds, like going up in the clouds. Lowell talks about the clouds sometimes. which is an area where there's like a lot of information you can connect to. The Akashic Record is connected with all of that. It's basically, imagine the Library of Congress, only it's the Library of Congress for everything with the internet thrown in. When you go in there, most people see it as an actual library. Um, and when you go in, there's each person, I mean, everything in existence has a book there. And so if you go in and you can either pull your book off the shelf or a librarian will get the book for you. If you go to read your book and you get like immediately the next thing you know, wait, I didn't get my book and I'm sitting at a table, that means they want to bring it to you. And often when you're new to the library, um, like here today with us, they may well let you get your book because, you know, we're here in a group, but then the next time you go and all on your own, they may like, no, you sit there, we'll bring you the book because, you know, but it will be unique for each person. So you sit with the book in front of you and you look at the cover of the book, look at what the book has been made of. Each time you go into your library, the book will look a little different because it's going to be depending on what life you're going into. If you're going into a life of 10,000 years ago, the book will look different than a life from 50 years ago or 100 years ago. No, it just book changes its appearance. So you look at like how fat is it? What kind of is it made from leather or paper or papyrus or you know how what size is it? Is it small? Is it like a little pocket book that you can pick, or is it like a big tome? Is there anything on the cover? And then what? And part of looking at the book is also like energetically connecting with it. And then you open the book, and some people read the book, like, and each time you go in, it may be different. You may be like, oh, I'm literally just reading the book, and you're reading words on a book. I'm like, that's a lot of work. Or the book may show you a movie. You may even dive into the book. Generally, when I go into a life, it's I'm there watching the life, so I'm like floating in the air here, watching us. But then sometimes I'll also be inside me, the me in that life, experiencing what the me in that life is experiencing. But while I'm doing that, I'm also watching the life, and the me of that life, the spirit of that me, is beside me, and we're talking about it. I'm in three places at once, basically. Um, I'm me watching the life, I'm me living the life, and I'm me explaining the life to me and having a conversation about it as we're watching.
Are you feeling
The me that's in me is feeling the pain of that life. The two me's watching are not. Yeah, yeah. But the me that's in me feels everything. But it's like, because I'm also watching and observing, it's not so extreme. So that's how I generally experience the Akashic Records. I know someone who, it's like she's watching a TV and she's watching the news, and it's a news report or a documentary about a life, and that's her life. Like, so it depends on, you know, um, it can depend person to person, and as your skill grows and evolves, it can also become more sophisticated or, you know, more connected.
what about the interpretation of it? Is it a flexible thing, or will you always get what you're supposed to get?
I think that skill will increase with practice, but there are lessons that will roll forward. And then sometimes it's important to make sure you don't doubt. Like, if, like at this moment, I can tell you if I could go anywhere right now for a holiday, maybe not this time of year, but in general, a place that I most generally want to go to is Scotland. I would love to take my friend to Scotland and just get in that where she started. So yeah, I've lived a lot of lives in Scotland. Over the last like 1,000 years, I've lived a lot of lives in Scotland. And so think about like, Susan, where would be a place that you would love to go visit? France. So 5 will get you
Never
10,
been to France.
and 5 will get you 10. You've been to France many times in past lives.
Paris.
There you go. There you go.
Oh,
There you go.
there's something going on good there.
Excellent. Excellent.
But I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I think we go to the Akashic Records for healing. And you're talking about uh, observing it or being in it.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have to be in it for the healing you're looking for, or is it okay to have the knowledge by observing it rather than having to re-experience the things?
Exactly.
It's okay, like in psychotherapy or whatever, they want you to get in there and experience the thing so that you can release it. But I just soon not go through the pain of the deaths and burning and
yeah. And actually, the one where I was burning, I was not. I was just watching.
You were just watching.
Yeah, I was watching, and I'm like,
yeah.
I think that's the like, and that's when my guide came and was explaining to me, oh, this is awesome. I'm like, we have got that are alive, And then when it was explained to me, I went, wow, this is awesome. I was reminded that we're not always in life for us. And we'll get into that a bit. So, Cindy, if you can go anywhere right now.
Always wanted to go higher.
There you go.
Love. Haven't managed to get there. So I think I must be
Exactly. Maybe today will be your chance. And Rodrigo. Uh-huh. And when you think about wanting to go to South Africa, is there, because that has such a rich, diverse history, is there any? Yeah. So I'm sure there's a strong connection. George? Yeah. Well, some people hop all over the world. Like, yeah. Yeah. I worked with, yeah, what are they? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, like, we all do hop all over the world. So just because you are resonating with one place, does not mean that that's where you've always been. It just means that in your current life, the past lives that are connecting with you strongly right now, we're there. And so when you go into the Akashic Records, these are easy lives to quickly get in touch with. When I was, when I got married, my, not to my son's father, to my college sweetheart, he was British nobility. So his family was pretty highfalutin. We'd go over there and I'd have to wear hats and go to tea parties and croquet parties and all of that. They had an estate and manor and a castle. And I remember when Joanna got married, oh my God, the guy was stunningly gorgeous, this big, handsome, with this beautiful British accent. And like we would literally go strolling with peacocks. And I remember like, well, he's not Scottish, but yeah. And the funny thing is, my whole life I've been a total Anglophile, even though I don't particularly like the English. In fact, I've never had, I mean, not that I dislike the English, but I've never really liked the English, but I love the Scottish. I'm like, well, of course I don't like the English. I love the Scottish. And, but I've had English lives as well. So when I started going into the Akashic Record, and I saw how many Scottish lives I've had, and how many were like negatively impacted by the British. It's like, okay, now that explains everything. Yeah. Okay. So one nice thing about connecting with the Akashic Records is it's a great way to connect with, to recognize people who have been in your lives in the past, your soul family, um, and we talk about our soulmate. Um, there's even people who are spiritual and Akashic oriented have a lot of debate about the term soulmate and twin flame and all that. So I don't really differentiate between your one true love and those that love you. However, it is a great way to connect with those that love you and have loved you through many lives and when you're between life. Um,
A cool picture.
I love that picture. So, as we said, we're always connected to the Akashic Record. It's just a matter of recognizing those connections and um, and learning how to tap into them with purpose. Um, so this picture in the middle, I love it because you see the line of energy flowing through the person, and it's one line of energy that is affected by chakras in the body as it's mixing with our energy. Um, that's the Hora line, which I love working with. It connects us all the way to to source and all the way to Gaia. With the work that I do, um, I consider Source God to be the creator of all that is spiritual, and Gaia to be the creator of all that is physical. When I work with Gaia energy, it's not just planet Earth, it's any physical planet. And we've done work here where we tap into Gaia's energy and then leave Earth and go to other planets and other dimensions. Anything that's physical, Gaia can take you to. And that's really fun. Um, and of course, we think of God as the creator of all. But, and I don't know if God created Gaia and then like said, you take over this part, or if they were co creators, if it was like one that's spinning off of the divine feminine, divine masculine, or what. That would be a whole different course that I would actually want to take on the beach. um, but I do know that our energy is connected to both. And while our physical body is right here, our energetic body goes all the way. And we have chakras that follow our Hora line all the way to Source and all the way to Gaia. They just become less physical and more etheric the further you get from our physical body. All the way. Yeah. In fact, I have recorded, but the volume didn't come out good because I was like so spacey that it didn't record well. Where we did actually go all the way to Gaia, and then we went all the way to Source, and God and Gaia greeted us as our parents greeting children, like coming home from college, basically. And then they blessed and expanded and filled all of our chakras through our entire Hora line. It was amazing. It was crazy. Oh my god. Susan, were you here for that one? Oh,
Sorry. Sorry, I wasn't.
I have it recorded. I'll have to do it again just because it was so much fun. And of course, that wasn't me. That was my collective channeling through me. So we have our energetic lines that radiate from our body outward. And our energetic bodies are actually a combination of our Hora line and our chakras and our physical energy. Like, we know that when you are tight or tense or ill, your energetic body will be closer to you because you're not funneling the energy to expand it. And when you are feeling effusive, it expands outward. But really, this is the more energy you bring in through your Hora line, the more you can expand outward. or densely fill what is close to you. Your choice. Um, so I just wanted to show this because we're already energetically connected to the Akashic Record. Um, if you talk to your higher self, if you don't want to go into the records, but you're very comfortable talking with your higher self knows all of your existence. Hello, he, she was there. So for me, when I talk to my higher self about past lives, it's sort of like, that's different from going to the library the way physically going to a library versus talking to your grandparents about, tell me about what life was like back then, while looking at photo albums. My higher self, when I talk with her about our past lives, she shows me stuff and she talks to me about it and we have a conversation. But if I wanted to, I could dive into her photo album and go into the library that way. So,
real quick,
mhm.
is there a difference between the higher self and the divine self?
Yes, but they're like, yeah, the I am is sort of when you're bringing, the way I see it, and correct me if you see it different. When I say I am bringing my higher self into myself, and my divine being is like the best of my higher self, what my higher self is trying to be. But we're not like, perfect, even when if we were, we wouldn't be like putting ourselves through this. Okay. Right. So we're going to take a break on this. This is going to be the start of our pathway prayer with Linda Howe. So stop.